All right, welcome back. BS with Brian Simpson. Big news this week. No, not really any huge. Well, first of all, before I even get into it, y'all got to go check out the big hit boy Alchemist combo that's happened. I mean, I think they didn't drop 4 songs in the last 2 weeks or something like that. It's an interesting story. Big Hit was a battle rapper in the 80s. And he went to prison for drug stuff. You know, and while he's in prison, his son becomes one of the most renowned producers in hip hop, Hit Boy, right? You know him from making all those hits with Nas, those 3 or 4 hit records with Nas, the King's Disease joint, and now his father is out of prison, Big Hit, and along with Alchemist, they're just putting out just dope ass songs. I don't know what's going on. Because I think it's not just special because it's father's son, right? But you gotta imagine how many. I'm sure this has happened to plenty of people, right? Because I feel like everybody that's started poor and got famous and got successful and got rich, they all know somebody that's in prison, you know? And or I'll say if there's someone close to them in their family that's not past the second stage. You know what I'm saying? So it might be it might be a cousin or an uncle or a father or a brother, you know, but you don't have to go deeper than that level of the tree, deeper than cousin, uncle to find somebody that they know in prison, right? And so, okay, so put that on top, okay? And then that's not to even mention friends that you grew up with and that kind of shit. And so, think about it. Think about all the people you know that's black, that started out poor and rags to riches, right? Imagine how many people they know that got out of prison and like, yo, fucking invest in this rap thing, bro. Like, what's good, bro? Like, my career. Like, usually it doesn't happen, right? I forget the rapper that he got out of prison and made a video to Puffy before this. Well, I don't know if he knew what was going on at the time, but yeah, you got out of prison and it's like, fuck with my rap career. Like, boost me up. Give me the and so it never happens. It never works out, right? Maybe it's a work ethic, maybe it's a skill issue, maybe it's people don't know how to turn off the street shit so they can't really navigate the industry. I don't know what it is. So I think that the fact that that's happening, that like it is working out, that like this dude is going hard. Like this is a real gangster rapper. You know what I mean? And I don't know why the authenticity makes it different. It makes it, I don't know, man. It makes it more visceral, it makes the bars hit harder. You know what I mean? The lyricism's up there, the bars are up there, but most importantly, the authenticity is up there. And I don't know why that makes it better to me. And now keep in mind, I found all this out about Big Hit after I heard the song. I think the song's called Drugs Are. So then I went and listened to the rest of them that they've been putting out. But you could feel the authenticity before I knew anything about him. You could feel it through the bars. Like, damn, he's rapping about some dark shit, but you could tell he's telling the truth. And I don't know why that matters. I think it matters in everything, in all entertainment. I think it matters with comedians. Like, if you, not that comedians have to be telling the truth, but there is a something there where if you come off as inauthentic, you know, people ain't feeling that. And they don't always know why they're not feeling you, but that's what it is. It's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe what you're representing up there. I don't believe that. You know? So anyway, go check that out. There's something, yeah. something major happened this week. I don't be keeping up with the news. Yeah, I know it's still Trump stuff happening. I don't keep up with the politics. A lot of y'all just groupies. A lot of y'all are political groupies. I realized this the other day. It's no different. Than people talking about their favorite artists the way they talk about their favorite politicians. It's like y'all glazing on these dudes like, and here's the thing, they don't give a fuck about you. They've proven it. And I just like, as soon as people start talking to me, have you heard the latest? I don't give a fuck. Oh, did you see what filling the candidate did yesterday? Nope, sure didn't. Sure didn't. Like I said, I'm gonna vote when it's time to vote. I'm gonna spend my money when it's time to spend my money, and that's the only power you have. And what you pay attention to. Those are your three powers in the world: where you spend your money, when you vote, and what you pay attention to. And so once you've done those things, it's nothing. Why spend the rest of your time? Oh, what are they up to? This? What did he eat for breakfast? Did you see him fall down? He stuttered. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I got too. I be barely keeping my own shit together, so I don't have time to get up and, like I said, if you've been a fan of the podcast from the beginning, you know that I um I used to be obsessed with politics when I first went to college. I was obsessed with the politics, and I woke up every day and listened to that shit. Listen to, I had the Rachel Maddow joint recorded from the night before, and then Tom Hartman and Norman Goldman. I was super duper into the liberal politics, and then I realized like I'm just filling my head up with like I get up every day and people just go, "Hey, B, you should be outraged," and I spend the whole day angry and anxious, and I'm like, "Fuck that." Because it doesn't matter for real. Why do I got to keep up with the day-to-day minutia of politicians? Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's get into a couple of these emails. Motherfucking emails. Worst heckler. Hey Brian, big fan of your stand-up. Saw you live for the first time a couple of weeks ago in Phoenix. Love the show. Look forward to going to another one in the future. I was sitting next to the girl who got kicked out because she started getting offended at every joke. I don't get why these people even come to comedy shows if they're looking to be offended. She claimed that she showed up to see you, but clearly had never seen your comedy before. What's your take on hecklers? How often do you get heckled? And what's the worst heckler you've ever had at one of your shows? I get heckled pretty much. I'm gonna say probably half the shows. Half the shows. It was funny is it used to be like most shows. It used to be like 75% of the time I would get heckled at least one. But back then it was because I have such a like a slow pace conversational kind of style that people, it would leave that pregnant pause for people to feel like they could fill in or agree or whatever the fuck, right? But I think it's gone down a bit. Like, even though that's still the case, it's gone down a bit because now since the Netflix special, my crowds are majority there for me. You know what I mean? Where it used to be, I would go somewhere and, 20, 30, 40% of the people would be familiar with me and everybody else would just be checking me out, or they were there from the recommendation, or they were there because of the club or whatever. And it wasn't mostly my fans. It wasn't people that were like, oh fuck, I gotta go see Brian Simpson, But now most of the crowds are people that came to see me specifically, and so they know what it is, and people that are real fans of yours, they have that certain respect for your performance and whatnot. But the mind of most hecklers is the same, because I tend to give people grace. If you were there, you saw I gave that lady a lot of patience. Because I understand, like, some people are fucked up, some people don't know better, some people ain't been out the house in a long motherfucking time. I try to be understanding and patient with people, but once you slide into asshole territory, then I don't have no sympathy for you. once I'm, and as you saw with that lady, you keep being like, hey, relax. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm checking on motherfuckers. You good? Is everything like, why are you behaving this way? I try to be nice. I don't want to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? But then once you get disrespectful, then fuck you, and all the people you came with. You know what I mean? That's how I respond to it. The worst heckler I ever had probably this was when I was real new I don't know how new. I was probably like 3 years, 4 years into comedy, and somebody threatened to kill me. Yeah, it was a dude sitting at a table with 3 women that were clearly like, two of the women were like butch lesbians, or at least they were dressed that way. And and I remember saying something like, "Oh, y'all look like a lesbian rock band or barbershop quartet or something like that." And this dude just took like the girls laughed, and then this dude just see, that's another thing, man. Sometimes, man, because I've also had this happen, and I'm sure it's happened to every comedian at some point if you've been in the game long enough. But sometimes the most mundane thing will just strike a nerve with some people. I've had people lose their fucking mind over nothing. You know what I mean? Like, not like, because you expect, at least with that girl you're talking about, it was a controversial bit. But some people you would be like, why did the chicken cross the road? And they'd be like, fuck you. You're like, what? Like they did, like, what is that? What's going on? Why does this offend you? Fuck you. Say one more thing. Like, sometimes people just, I don't know what it is. The chicken crossing the road is like real traumatizing for them or something like that. Um, and this is also my other big rule. Is like, hey, when niggas just got out of prison, don't bring them to the comedy show. Don't bring them to any club, strip club, comedy club, dance club. That I it needs to be said over and over and over again ad nauseum. But people that just did a long bid, like they not ready to go into those environments. Because those places are where you can potentially be corrected, rejected, and they still got prison ethic. You know what I mean? And so, where they could potentially get laughed at or rejected or disrespected. It's like, don't even do it. You know, take this nigga, teach this thing how to use the internet. You know, s- set him up a damn Tinder account, something other than going out to party in public, or that's not the way to go. That's not the way to go. Um, yeah, but I have no idea really what goes. I think some people heckle too because they want to be comics. That, like, I think some people heckle because the insecurity get the best of them in terms of, they see you doing what they think they could do, but they haven't had the balls to do it, and they and so they try to get a laugh at your expense. See, this is why I don't. This is what I don't respect about hecklers, is because I'm taking the risk. You're trying to. I think this is what people don't understand about it is that, I have an act that, I have things already prepared that I want to talk about. There's a time limit, you know, and it varies from show to show. But the point is that, so it's like when you interrupt, you're taken away from that time. No, I don't want you to interrupt. I know it's this damn epidemic of crowd work clips. I don't want that. I don't want you. I don't need your participation. I'm not trying to score a viral moment or none of that shit. And I think that's also part of the problem too now. Heckling overall is on the rise because that is what. Because I learned a long time ago, my first comedy mentor taught me that, half of the people at every show, if it's a sufficient number of people at the show, have never been to a comedy show. You know, So the majority of people in the United States have never been to a live stand up show, and because most people don't even think of that when they think, "Oh, we should go do something." They don't think of that, you know. And now because all these clips are like a lot of these viral crowd work clips of people think that that's what it is because that's their first exposure to it. They think it's mostly that. And so they don't see anything wrong with them screaming some shit out because that's what they see on the internet. And so I'm against it. I'm totally against it. Look, I listen. I think if you have a crowd work moment that's genuine and is some once in a lifetime fucking hilarious shit, post whatever you want to post. I mean, still post what you want to post. But I just feel like a lot of the crowd work is mediocre, and people are just posting it because they think that because they've seen someone else go viral or get famous that way. A lot of comics think that they have to do that, and you don't. You know, you have to do you. When you're trying to force a viral moment, that shit doesn't work. Like I said, the inauthenticity, you can smell it, you can see it, you can feel it. Some is, oh, this feels forced, So, yeah, that's also a big problem. I hope I answered your question, but it's like so many new comics are like posting clips of their bad jokes, you know? And maybe it's a generational thing or whatever, but I was scared to death for anyone to see me. And none of my mama didn't see me do stand up I until I filmed my Netflix half hour. That's the first time she saw me live do stand up. You know what I mean? The only reason I even had any stand up on the internet before that was when people asked for tapes. I had a unlisted joint. I would send the link. You know, a couple of them was listed for a while, but it just didn't like the idea of having the jokes out there when they weren't ready. Just fucking it ate away at me. I couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't do it. So if it, like I said, if it's topical, if it's good, if it's authentic, whatever. But just putting up any joke just so you can have jokes up, I don't believe in that. And again, maybe it's easy for me to say, but whatever. Just remember, whatever you get famous for, that's what you gotta keep doing. So I hope that. Wait a minute, is that your question? How often do you get heckled, and what's the worst heckler you ever had? Oh yeah, I did answer that. Okay. All right. What's good, Brian? I'm looking into coming to see you perform in Royal Oak, Michigan come July. I will be in Royal Oak, Michigan come July. And wanted to get your opinion on which shows, early or late, you enjoy more as both a performer and audience member. If it does differ between performing and attending, I'm curious as to your reasoning behind it. I can only make it to the Saturday show, so I'm curious if that plays into your reasoning decision as well. I love the pod, and your stand-up live from the Mothership was amazing, and really look forward to seeing you live for the first time. Keep killing it, man, Nick. Well, Nick, I don't know what it's like from an audience perspective. Uh, because I haven't watched a stand-up show as an audience member in a long time. But man, honestly, it's random. I think, typically, the early Saturday show is the one that sells out first. Because I think people imagine, okay, we're gonna see some comedy, and we're gonna go out afterwards. But it just depends on what your vibe is. The late Saturday show is usually the drunkest, because everyone had the whole day off. They started day drinking, they watching sports, whatever. People usually show up a little tipsy, and there's a 2-drink minimum, so they usually leave a little fucked up. So it depends on what your vibe is. The early risers or the late, the party animals at the end. Either show can be a great show. Friday late is usually like older people, you know, or people that like worked all day. So it's a different, like, it's more like blue collar vibes, I think. I don't know. Um, but any of the shows can randomly be the best show of the weekend. Even here's the other thing too is like I'm not the best judge of that. Like what my favorite show was, it never matches up because I think this is what I think. I think that there's a there's a dopamine release when you kill, right? When you do well. No different than any other drug, right? And I feel like just like every other drug, when you get like that second dose, if it's the same dose, it don't feel as good as the first dose. You feel me? You got to do a little more. So there's shows where I'm like, oh man, that was fucking awesome on the early show, and then the late show, I go, that was all right. And then everybody's like, what are you talking about? That was as good as the first one. I was like, it didn't feel as good. So you know what I'm saying? So man, I'm not the best judge about it, but I'll say you'll have fun either way. But again, the early Saturday show is going to sell out first. That's usually the show that sells out first. So, you know, jump in there if you need to get up in there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, but I look forward to seeing you as well, man. Come say hi when we get out there. And I believe, okay, one more. Oh no, this is just someone, Eugene, thanking me for my advice. Listen to episode 101 and heard you answer my question. What was that? This was the guy, the church leader guy. Step up as church leader. Okay, yeah. Um, all right. No, you didn't, bitch. Damn, how the fuck did the telemarketer get through my shit? What happened to the Google screening? What happened to the scam likely? These motherfuckers got registered caller IDs. I'm like, scam maybe? I don't know. I don't know if you guys heard this. There's an Ohio billionaire that plans to take a 2-person submersible to the Titanic to show that the industry is safe after the OceanGate tragedy. Who's asking for this? Who? Because listen, I don't know anyone that was clamoring to go to the Titanic before the OceanGate joint. You think you're going to convince people by going down there yourself, sir? This shows how out of touch people can get. This dude's a billionaire, and I'm guessing he was born with money, right? It's very hard to reach billionaire if you don't start out at least a millionaire, right? But let's delve into it a little bit. What's his name? Why does it just say an Ohio man? Okay, Larry Connor. Okay, Larry Connor. I'm guessing Larry Connor was born with money because this is a level of out of touch that I think you have to be born like aristocracy type shit or born billion with millions and millions for you to be this out of touch. You got to start out of touch. You know what I mean? Because this is a person that's never really around regular people or doesn't have regular interactions. For you to think that you, a billionaire, going down to the Titanic is going to revive the industry. Sir, this is absurd. Talk to any person that's not on your payroll. Go talk to people that don't know you're a billionaire and tell them what you're thinking of doing. Or even worse, pretend like you another person and talk about yourself like it's the news. Like, yo, you hear this? Do you hear this billionaire is talking about going out to the Titanic? And see what their honest reaction is to you. And they're gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? What are you doing? What is he doing? What is he thinking? Because listen, I forget how many successful trips OceanGate made or how many successful trips anyone made before that in other vehicles, other vessels. And again, I've never heard anyone that was like, man, one of these days I'm going to go down to the Titanic. That's why it was all billionaires and their children on that motherfucking ship because ain't nobody, regular people don't listen, we don't do risky. You know, the poor, especially black folks, unnecessary risk. We tend to shy away from. We tend to shy away from like from fucking with the wilderness, from fucking with Mother Nature. You know what I mean? From fucking with the forces of Earth. You know, dealing with ocean pressure and lack of oxygen and that sort of thing. Like, listen, right now, climbing Mount Everest used to be very dangerous. It's still kind of dangerous, but I saw a picture the other day of people like in a long ass line just waiting their turn to keep like it's become that. It's tourist thing now. Very few black people up there. It's dead bodies up there. It's bodies up on Mount Everest that they can't never recover. They just permanently frozen in the mountain somewhere. I would bet money that none of those people are black. None of the unrecovered bodies on Mount Everest are black people. You know, we don't do that kind of shit. I'm willing to bet very few, short of the slave trade, right? Very few black bodies are on the bottom of the ocean. We don't run towards risk when there's no reward on the other side of it. Very, very, very seldomly. Are you gonna see niggas swimming with sharks or wrestling bears or speaking of bears, was everyone around for this controversy where people were like, oh, would you choose? They were asking women, this was weeks ago, and I don't know if I talked about it. They were asking women on the internet, which is, why would you even do that? Don't ask the internet for stuff. I don't know if y'all been in the comment sections. It's full of people just giving you wrong answers and shit. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a scene from Rocky and somebody will be like, what movie is this? Because it's not in the comments. It's not in the caption. People are like, oh, that's Bambi. Like people will like try to sincerely, like they'll try to sound sincere while they're giving you the wrong information. This is just the era we live in now. But anyway, they were asking women on the internet, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a random man or a bear? And all of these fucking weirdos chose the bear, which is insane. And I saw one TikTok of a dude, like his wife had asked him this question, but put his daughter in it. Like, would you rather our daughter be trapped with a man or a bear? And he was like, the man, and it turned into this big argument between them because listen, I get the point that you're trying to make, that men are dangerous to women. I totally understand that. And if you were to say, hey, I'm exaggerating for effect, but this is my point, I would respect that. But no, there's people that double down and literally mean that they would choose the bear. And I know two things about those people. Either you've never been around a bear, you don't know what you imagine it's something different, right? Or you're playing dumb, because here's the truth. If you were in any room of people and a bear got in that room, you would run towards the nearest man. You know what I mean? You have an app on your phone where you go find random men, not bears. There's no bear Tinder. So it's if you literally mean that you would choose to be around a wild bear over a random man, then because here's the truth. Here's the other side of that. And this is the fundamental difference between, I think, the way that men in general argue and the way women in general argue is that women are willing to team up and be illogical together just to win an argument. You know what I mean? I think men are it's easier for us to admit logical defeat, right? And the amount of people co-signing this, like, well, of course I would choose that bear. Stop listening to those people immediately. You would not choose a bear, period. You would not choose a bear. You choose every day to be around random men. If being around a bear was an option, you would not take that option. And here's the thing about it. the point that these people are trying to make is that men commit the most violence against women. Well, guess what? Men also commit the most violence against men. Men are far more victims of violence from men than women are, right? And knowing that, most men still choose a man. Still rather be around a man than a bear, because I mean, do I have to even explain why? That's the other thing. It's like, just walk, because to me, that's the big divide right there. I put you in the two categories. If you choose the bear, then I know we disagree about a whole bunch of shit. Like, because that just tells me that you're willing to be that illogical to feel right, to be right. It's like you could choose a bear. You choose to be around a bear. Have you seen do you know how powerful a bear is? How fast the bear is? How easily they get irritated? And how, if they get irritated with you, it's absolutely nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? You're around a random man, even if you was around the most dangerous man in the world, you still got a chance over a bear. You know what I'm saying? Like a bear that you don't know, that don't know you. Because people go, I think a response was like, well, how often are people attacked by bears? Well, that's beside the point. Look, let me flip the scenario. Say you floating in the middle of the ocean. You survived a shipwreck, just you. And in one direction is land, but there's a shark swimming around. You got to go through the shark. And the other direction is a boat full of random men coming straight at you. Are you swimming towards the boat, or you gonna go past the shark and try to make it to land? Well, we all know what the answer is. You would jump into a canoe full of random Somalians. You would before you try to swim past the shark. You would die. You would get into a raft full of those uncontacted tribes that killed that missionary. You would get into one of their boats before you try to go past the shark. Right? Not only is it correct, but it's also the smart thing to do. If you're like, well, I'm gonna take my chances with the shark because I'm a feminist. It's like, well, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. So maybe that's what you mean. Maybe you're like, I choose death. It's wild to have never encountered a bear and make this kind of decision. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? I give you grace. One of these days, maybe go to the zoo or something like that. Or I don't even know how you would encounter a wild bear safely. You know what I'm saying? But you know what it is. The funny thing is when you go out into these wild woods, to these national parks and stuff, is park rangers out there specifically, to keep you away, to protect you from the bears, not really to protect you, but to protect. They're there to keep you from doing shit that's gonna make bears come at your ass and other wild animals, and also keep you from destroying the environment. But you know what I'm saying? They're like, stay on this path. Don't go down there. Don't feed nothing. Don't have no motherfucking this and that on you. Don't do this because you don't want to attract things that will kill you. You know what I mean? Now listen, if you go now, maybe I think a more accurate choice would be, or a more useful conundrum would be like, would you rather be trapped in the? I don't even know, man. I don't know, because if you stuck anywhere in the wilderness, you waiting for a random band to come rescue you. You waiting to hear you waiting for that. Because think about what you said. It's like you're saying, just remove the bear from the scenario altogether. You stuck in the wilderness. So take away the danger of the bear. You're just stuck in the wilderness, and a random man comes to rescue you. What you gonna be like? I'll take my chances in the wild. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You would justifiably be cautious, probably, if they were giving you vibes, creepy vibes. Which, let's be honest, people that live out in the woods, they tend to have those vibes. It doesn't make them creepy, but, they tend to be, a little disconnected, but that's still your best chance of survival. You stuck in the mountains, you waiting to hit a helicopter, and it's going to likely be full of men that you've never met. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on. It's such a weird hill to die on to try to prove a point that we already know. So I don't know. I'm not in that debate, and I'm glad I'm single, so I don't have to fucking have these illogical fucking, like, that's the reason why I don't think I'm good. I'm not good to date, because I won't let because to date in the modern age, you gotta let shit like that slide. It would bother me forever. It would bother me forever. You know what I mean? Well, I choose the bear. That's the correct thing. And that's the thing. You go on TikTok and you see what other people think, and you think that's what you're supposed to think. And even when it don't make sense to you, you try to fit. You gotta fill in the. You gotta do all the mental jujitsu to make it your opinion, so you can have the correct opinion. It's like it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm saying. Choose who you want to choose. Be afraid of men in general, all you want. But I'm not going to go along with your delusion about how you're safer with a bear. I just, yeah. I would love to get a room full of those people in there and just have a bear run in the room and watch how they all react. I guarantee you they would all run to the nearest man and get behind him. I know it. We all know it. That's the thing. We all know it. We've seen it. A random wild animal gets in somewhere where it ain't supposed to be, and you're not going, well, at least there aren't any men here. You're not doing that. It's like, I'm not necessarily offended on behalf of all men, but I'm just weirded out by how what's the word for something that's ubiquitous? I'm just weirded out by how ubiquitous this opinion is, like how quickly it spread. And it just goes to show, like, you can collectively, people are stupid. George Collins, he hit the nail on the head. People in groups are fucking, they're dumber, they're angrier, they're more willing to be illogical. Groups terrify me. I'm trying my best not to be a part of any, but I guess that's almost impossible. But I digress. My point is, going down in this fucking sub is one of the dumbest things that anyone is going to do in the next, or let me rephrase that. Going down in this sub with the intention of changing the industry, of like reviving industry, because you would have to convince a black person, you would have to convince a black woman to go down there with you. Okay, fuck the bear. Are you choosing the billionaire on the sub or dryland? No, if you could get, and it would have to be like a hood bitch. If you could get like Sexy Red to get on that joint with you might revive the industry. But you going down there, that ain't convincing nobody. I mean, and I guess, I don't know what revived the industry, but was the industry in full swing before this? Was there just a shitload of people going deep sea exploring in subs? I can't do it. I don't even want to be in a space that small, not in the ocean. If somehow you convince me to crawl into a crevice, I need to be able to get the fuck out of there. I need to be able to get out as soon as I start feeling some kind of way. So, I'm not signing up. I don't know. None of the homies is signing up for this. You know, you like I said, you would have to make so many successful trips. You would have to show that you're using different technology than them motherfuckers was using. 'Cause they tried to do like carbon fiber cones or some shit like that. You know, you would have to put out. I mean, man, I mean, he's a billionaire, so maybe you could put the press on. But like I said, if you can convince black people to do it, then you might have a shot. You're gonna have to campaign in the black community, which you don't never go to. So let's, good luck. Good luck, bro. But you can make 1,000 successful trips in your own sub, and it ain't gonna make a fucking difference. You know? I'll choose the bear over this nigga. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll choose the bear over getting on that sub for sure. No doubt about it. Um, well, there you go, Brian, with your weeks late hot take. That's what they call me. A week later, Simpson. Okay, whatever. All right, one more. One more. Um, uh, one. Mo- 81-year-old arrested after police say he terrorized a California neighborhood with a slingshot. Now that is fucking great. I mean, have you ever heard a better headline than that? An 81-year-old man who investigators say terrorized a Southern California neighborhood for years with a slingshot has been arrested. Well, terrorized is a strong word, isn't it? While conducting an investigation, detectives learned that during the course of 9 to 10 years, dozens of citizens were being victimized by a serial slingshot shooter. The man is suspected of breaking windows and car windshields and of narrowly missing people with ball bearings shot from a slingshot. Well, that's big time. A ball bearing? Nigga, you trying to kill somebody. What are you doing? This is Azusa, Azusa, California. Azusa, California. Yeah, is that on the Arizona California border? It probably is. The man is suspected of, okay, the man was arrested Thursday after officers served a search warrant and found a slingshot and ball bearings at his home in Azusa, about 25 miles east of Los Angeles. Well, okay. Azusa Police Lieutenant Jake Bushy said Saturday that detectives learned that most of the ball bearings were shot from the suspect's backyard. We're not aware of any kind of motive other than just malicious mischief. Well, I think that's more than mischief. Because you can fuck somebody up like this. You shoot, you know. I mean, he 81, but he had to see me. If you threw one of them at me, I'm gonna have to throw hands. I'll put your ass in the nursing home, boy. He doesn't. What's malicious mischief? I mean, what are they charging him with though? They didn't say what the charges were because I can't imagine you out there firing off ball bearings, bro, from a slingshot, bro. You know, because I mean, I don't know what kind of, what the craftsmanship is on his slingshot, but some of these motherfuckers are, they doing damage. With a ball bearing in it, that's doing damage. How did they not catch this man before this? I have no idea. But they say he terrorizing the hood. I don't understand how people didn't know who it was. Um, I don't understand why police got a tip that it was him. Did it? Maybe was his fingerprints on the ball bearing? Did somebody catch him? But yeah, that motherfucker had to see somebody. I'd rather a pedophile live up the street than a motherfucker just randomly firing off ball bearings. Maybe I'm not thinking straight. Speaking of being illogical, I don't know. Maybe I'm, but serial slingshot shooter is a crazy, it's a crazy headline. All right, one more. How many people have been killed by alligators in Florida? The number may surprise you. I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna be surprised at all. 2 killed while trying to run from police. Okay, but what's the um Florida is a state well known for its alligators, which inhabit many of the state's swamps and wetlands. Despite their cute appearance, these animals are incredibly dangerous. While they rarely bite people, they may do so for food as they're opportunistic feeders. Sounds like other wild animals I've heard of. Since 1948, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has recorded over 450 alligator bites on people in the state, with 30 of them being fatal. Okay, what's the crocodile stats then, too? Certain lakes in Florida also present more risk than others. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that number surprises me because it's so low. I thought it would be much, much worse than that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you got common sense, you should almost never get bit by an alligator. You know what I mean? Like, stay away from the water. It's just that simple. What are you doing near the swampy water? It's alligators in there. It's just that simple. It's alligators in that water, sir. If I'm anywhere in that region, if I'm out here in Texas, I'm not going near the motherfucking water. For what? For what? Stay away from the river water, man. Stay away from the swamp water, man. You can fuck around in the lake, fuck around in the ocean, but there's definitely alligators out there in that swampland. It's definitely they out there. They there. You just have to assume they there. It's like birds. It's like, what if birds were as dangerous as alligators? You wouldn't run around in the woods. Why are you keep your kids away from the shore when you out there in that Florida area, man? Keep your kids away from the swamp. Rarely are alligators running into the city. They do come up there though. People found fucking gators in their pool and shit like that. But again, why have a pool? That's another thing. I don't understand people that need to have one of those, unless it's indoor joints. But I don't see the point. Taking care of a pool is such a pain in the ass, and keeping it from blooming algae and keeping it cleaned and it's just, whatever. Getting attacked by an alligator, that's usually because you're somewhere you shouldn't be. That's all I'm saying. Not that I lack empathy for people, but people, kids getting snatched and shit like that. I got empathy for you, but it's usually because you was doing something stupid. You were somewhere. The first stupid thing you did was you was there. You was there. That's why I don't be there. The first step in most mistakes is being there. You know what I mean? Where shit could go down. I was never there. Like I said, I never saw the point. I remember growing up. I grew up in the DMV area, and out there we have a certain a certain style of music to the region called go-go music, and it's basically congos are the key instrument, I think, that distinguishes that go-go sound, but it's a very specific sound. And it was basically like just hood covered bands, and each area had their own band. And it's a dope ass vibe to me. And if you from the area, you know what it is. And actually popular in other areas too. And surprisingly, some places. But my point is just that I remember when I was coming up, it was I forget the name of the spot. I think it was called the Black Hole. But it was like you could go to the Black Hole and you could see. At the time, my favorite band was Junkyard Band. You could go see Junkyard Band. It's Junkyard, Backyard, Rare Essence, a handful of others back then. I mean, I'm sure it's fucking 50 more now that I haven't heard of because I haven't lived there in a long time. But the point is, people would go to these go-go's and these live bands. They would like cover popular songs. They had a couple of original songs. They had a couple like neighborhood-specific songs, and it would be a lot of. It would be some songs where it was basically moshing, just for the sake of you understanding. It was a lot of that, right? And things could get heated, blah blah blah. But at this particular place, I remember I went there 3 times, but the second time it was a big fight. And keep in mind, the bands don't encourage the fighting. In fact, they always stop the show. Hey man, cut that shit out. we'll shut down the party because they know because a motherfucker like me, you know what I'm saying, somebody gets shot and I'm not coming no more. And that was the end of my, like, no. I don't need to go party somewhere where I might get shot. You know, and again, I didn't get shot. Nobody that was with me got shot. But it's like, that's just, the nigga didn't miss. We lucky the nigga didn't miss. But what party is worth that to me? So I'm like, see, again, most of the trouble is being there. You know, why am I here? People get shot at this location. So I'm going to go somewhere where that ain't the case. You know what I mean? It's like, if you tell me somebody got shot at your establishment recently, I'm not coming. Well, Brian, we assure you we took measures. Okay, well, listen, I'm taking measures as well. My measure is I'm not coming. You know what I'm saying? Let this Ocean Gate nigga go there and let him fill it out and let him report back. Okay, whatever. All right, remember, guys, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, if you want advice from the advice champ, email me at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. You can also, send us a voice note or whatever. If you don't feel like typing out an email, you can just fucking voice note and email that to us. Don't forget to come see me on tour. Go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. Go to any of my socials, BS Comedian. I think I'm Brian Simpson Comedy on TikTok. And click on that Linktree link. I'm going to be the next place I'm going to be is Vegas at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. That's happening on the goddamn the 14th and 15th of June. Those tickets are on sale. And I want to say there's like 30% of them left. So, again, you might want to get at them. You got to get at them before they don't like it out. And then I'm going to be at Comedy Works in Denver, July 11th, 12th, and 13th. I love fucking Comedy Works. I love fucking Denver. And, your team's out of the playoffs. So come fuck with us. And then I'm going to be at the Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, Michigan, right outside of Detroit, on July 25th, 26th, and 27th. So go ahead and get them tickets now. Spread the word. If you want to support me, like, subscribe, share, comment. If you, or tell somebody about the pod, or tell somebody about the special on Netflix right now, still streaming live from the mothership on Netflix. My debut hour special. There's other shit on there too as well. And we'll see y'all on the next episode. Keep it tight, Bieber Puss.